first off, run me through how they select these people for the National Maths and Science quiz. I know it's not part of the conversation, but since you are a candidate or you were a candidate for it, run me through it. Let's go.
All right. So I know it will be different for different institutions, and even for my year group, I know it was slightly different when you think about the other year groups. But for ours, we took series of tests, and it was the final one that we used for the selection. It's a test on the electives, the math, biology, chemistry, and physics. But then it's in the NSMQ style. So it is written, but you have someone reading out the questions. And if it's math, you have about 30 seconds to solve without a calculator and write your answer. If it's just as it's on stage, because on the actual show, you're expected to use about 30 seconds for a question. And so we do that for all 4 electives. And afterwards, they'll compile everything and they'll post the cumulative score on the notice board. So if you did well, everyone can see. And if you were not selected, because they selected the first 15 afterwards from that final test. And once they did, everyone else, that was the end. But then for the first 15, we created a new class. So they took us from all our classes into a single class, and that was the NSMQ class. So with that new class, then training was, sometimes it was interesting because you could learn from like 12 midday to about 2 in the dawn. And, you are just learning, and then teachers come up and down. And so you just have to be fit.
I've taken myself out of it like 4 generations in my head already. Yeah. Like I'm imagining 4 lifetimes of mine, and there is no way I'm going to make that 15 cuts.
I think it was good. It was interesting being there.
What?
Yeah, because it's tough, but then it's so interesting to actually be on the team. Yeah, it was.
But we didn't see you representing Achimota.
Yeah, so I would say the issue was the biology that I didn't offer, because for the selection test, I don't know how I got in, but then maybe it's because I topped the math, and then the chemistry and physics too was high there. So I got into the first 15 and then got on the team. But then moving forward, it was still the biology, because regardless, it was as if we can't afford to not have biology on stage, because it will put everything on the other contestants. And if that's the case, then when we are looking at problem of the day, if it's a biology question, it's a catastrophe. Yeah. Because I can't do anything. I can just watch him. So, all right, I was learning the biology and all that, but then they had been doing it for about 3 years, and I was just doing it. So after everything, I just didn't take part.
Right. But would you say participating or training for the National Science and Maths quiz and everything you learned in Achimota contributed to you getting the straight A's you got at the final exams?
I think it was a bit of everything, because if you take Achimota completely out, I don't know if the 80s would have been a reality. And if you take the NSNQ, what they were doing to us, I don't think we could have scored anything else.
What they were doing to us, like it's some military training.
I have to admit, it's, you are learning. The goal is simple. Just learn. That's it. And so this teacher comes, and then they are teaching you. You need to get it. And then the next teacher comes. So at some point, all our teachers were HODs, the head of departments. Yeah. And so if that's the case, you shouldn't have an issue, because they are there to solve every single issue. Yeah. So if you take NSMQ out, I don't know how the story would have been. And the amount of work that I think I personally put in to contributed, and also the support from a lot of people, because after everything was a lot of noise in my head. Yeah. So
how did you overcome that noise to concentrate on the final exams and come out with flying colors?
I don't know. I don't think I ever overcame the noise. I just ended up growing with it, because how it was is that once you're a day student and you are passing by the roads, at least there will always be someone who you will meet that will remember the story or remind you or something. Yeah. So I never got to pass the noise, so I just felt like, okay,
You live with it.
yeah, let's just
It's like one of your locks.
yeah. Then there were so many of them, so you just live with it and just keep moving on. Yeah.
And on the day of the exams, when what paper did you guys write first? English,
All right.
oral English, with the main subjects: English, math, science, and then the electives. Whenever, sorry, whenever you sit behind each paper and they say start work, do you look at the questions and you'll be like, oh, I've solved this one before. It's easy. I saw it in the national HOD. Thomas told me this.
Okay. The thing is that once I see it and I get the feeling that this is easy, I feel like the people sitting next will be like, this is WASSCE, it can't be easy, because I remember
But did you have that?
I honestly did.
How many papers? Well, which subjects?
Okay, my favorite is math. So the math, at some point, I don't want to mention it, but then for the core math, I choose not to use a calculator because
Wait, you solved the
my thing was that with the way I love math, I want it to be memorable. Yeah, so that someday I sit down, I'm like, Tyrone, you did try your best. Yeah, so I that was it. But then once after we write every paper, when we get back to the theater hall, that's our class. You hear the comments, said, okay, paper was good. 'Cause I remember the chemistry paper. One guy on the team was like, this paper was very easy. Already, people had been complaining and crying and all that. And then another guy shouted, like, nah, it wasn't easy. It was no work. I'm like, okay, I see. So that kind of deep confidence was always on the team. Right. Yeah. So once you step out, you know that there's almost nothing they can bring that can completely kill you. It can hurt you, but then you shouldn't die. Yeah.
I know you said you solved the core maths without calculator, but how long did it take you to finish the paper?
So
it's a 2-hour paper, yes?
Yeah, it's a 2-hour paper. I'll talk only about the core math. Just the section A, not the full paper, just the section A. So, I tried my best, but when it got to the tangents and then the sine, you literally need a calculator. And one question was just straight away, tan this. I need a calculator. I'm like, at this point, and the calculator was just under the desk. I just told them that yes, that was the issue. So I just thought about it. If tan this, because some of the NSNQ stuff that we learned allows us to learn some special angles. Yes, so if I know that maybe tan 60 is this, then I can.
Let me pretend as if I understand what you're saying. And let me listen.
Okay, so it's you kind of guess what it could be close to, and in the process you get it, because if 1 + 1 is 2, then you expect 1 + 5 or 7 to be farther from 1 + 1. It was that kind of logic.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the minutes. If it's a 2-hour paper, how long did it take Marhguy to complete the paper?
The core math I finished on time, but the e-math, I think an hour earlier or 45 minutes earlier, I think so.
Because you used the calculator on that.
Yeah, because the goal was to answer all the questions.
But you're supposed to choose 2 for the session B, yes?
I don't know, but then for the e-math we wrote, we were choosing about 10 questions. Yeah, 10 questions, some compulsory, and I think 13. So we did them, calculator, we just made sure that this thing has to be correct, because the A on this test would mean much more. Yeah, that was the goal right from the start.
So when announcement or when news came out that the final results are out and you guys can go and check, tell me the feeling that you were having in you. And then when you went to finally check, we saw how you felt in the video, but tell us about it. Tell us about it again.
Because getting to the test, I had calculated my grades like a million times, because
and in your head you had
in my head sometimes I had 8 A's, sometimes I had 7 A's, but the minimum was 7 A's. That was it. So and the results too was as if it was coming in November and then moved to December and all that. So when the results was finally in, they came to wake me up that Tyrone, it's in. I said, okay. So when I woke up, they had their cameras ready, yeah, and all that. You are checking the thing right now. So I had bought the checkers and all that like some weeks ago. So, yes. So when I sat down and I entered everything and I just scrolled, when you actually noticed the video, we never really checked the scores. We just, glanced through and realized that there's just two characters used. Yeah. And so it was amazing. I was surprised, but not too surprised. I was okay. Yeah.
And your parents?
Yeah, they were excited. They were actually excited.
Finally, we've won the battle.
I think so. I'm saying I think so because they were actually excited. I could tell that they were excited, but then, yeah, they are just so happy. That's what I think.
And after the results came out and your video came out, we had some personalities coming out to applaud you. You got some gifts, which you're wearing one, 1957 from KOD, and other mentions as well. That's good news.
Yeah.
What do you think? Do you feel like you've now become like a force or a point people can reference to and be like, okay, if my guy could get this done and beat all odds and come out on top, I too can do this?
I have a feeling that's the reality right now, whether I want to accept it or not, because sometimes the major concern that some students did have was the fact that I didn't offer biology but still ended on the team because we're about 19 students and it's only two ICT students that made it onto the team. So it's kind of that reference, for a number of people, at least for those that do not offer biology but still intend to be a part of the NSMQ. And I think on the, on the larger communities, I feel like it's a reality now. And so I have to accept the fact that a lot of references will be made, if not that they are being made already. Yeah, that's right.
Let's talk about the future. What's the plan for Marhguy in terms of education? Are we seeing Marhguy at Yale or at any other Harvard or something like that?
I have a feeling, yeah, because the SAT is kind of, once you take the SAT, it's obvious that you are considering those options. So I think once I've taken that test, I'm not too sure of where I'll end up though, but then have a feeling I'm probably on that path. Yeah, I'm not too sure where I'll end up, but then I'm on that path with the SAT.
Have you had any person in government, be it education office or any other person, like in government, in power, in high power, come to you and maybe congratulate you or seen any message anywhere congratulating you after what you did?
To talk about government,
Reason why I'm saying that is, your story went viral and it had a lot of angles and a lot of foreign bodies come out to speak against whatever that was happening. And you had international recognition. International news was following your story and all that. That's why I'm asking that if maybe anyone at all, if not, maybe we can just.
yeah, there's actually one or two of them behind, and I think they did well. And there was also child rights. They have been there throughout, and to talk about government, yeah, then I think one or two people, yes, then I have seen some very nice congratulations, which I'm so happy about. Yeah.
Marhguy, thank you so much for speaking to us.
Thank you.
We'll see you at the top.
All right.
Maybe not me, but someone. Yeah, you get it.
I do get it.
Right, we'll catch you on another side, okay? So that was a quick interview with my guy. Straight ace, not in a lifetime. Don't ask me. Don't ask me. But you that you're watching 3 Extra right now, what did you get in your final exams for the West African examination? Let me know in the comment section. Make sure you follow us on all our social media platforms as well. We'll be bringing you more engaging conversations and everything in between. My name is King Kweku Mensah, and I spoke to Tyrone Marhguy on this one.